Create a program that finds the ActiveCell value. Use a message box to display the value. Write a code in the space provided below in here. Create a program that finds the active row value. Use a message box to display the value. Write the code in the space provided. Create a program that finds the ActiveCell column value. Use a message box to display the value. Write the code in the space provided below. Create a program that finds the value of a cell that is one row from the ActiveCell. Use the message box to display the value. Write the code in the space provided. Create a program that finds the value of a cell that is one column to the right of the ActiveCell. Use the message box to display the value. Write the code in the space provided below. So the first thing is that we need to learn about the ActiveCell. When you select a cell, either within Excel itself or via VBA, the cell that is selected is called the ActiveCell. There are advantages and disadvantages of using the ActiveCell property. The major advantage is that you can actually find a particular cell and reference cells from that. The major disadvantage is that you actually have to reference those cells, and it can slow the programming right down. So if we have a look at this Excel spreadsheet here, the active cell at the moment is B4. If I change it to now, it is C4. The value that is in there at the moment is nothing. But if I write something in here, the value that is in cell B3 is hello. The active cell value is hello. If I select B4 and write here it is, the value of B4, the active cell now, is here it is. If I select C3 and I write in 45, the value of the active cell is 45. Let's select B3 at the moment, which happens to be the value is hello. ActiveCell.value returns the value that is in the active cell. The active cell can be used as a reference point. Some things you can do with the active cell. You can find the value of that is in the active cell. Here is a quick little program. Take a time to look through it. Dim value of active cell as variant. Value of active cell equals ActiveCell.value. There is that little program there that returns the active cell value. Message box, value of active cell. What does this program do? Have a think about it. This program will give the value of the active cell in a message box. Let's have a look at what we can do. ActiveCell.font.bold is true. This makes the active cell contents bold. Active cell address. This returns the active cell address, especially if used with the message box. ActiveCell.offset, open brackets, 1, close brackets, 0, close brackets, dot select, selects the cell from the active cell. It selects one cell down from the active cell. Let's have a look at this one. Message box ActiveCell.row. That actually returns the active cell's row's value in a message box. Message box ActiveCell.column returns the active cell's column in a message box. We need to create a program that finds the active cell value, use a message box to display the value, write the code in the space provided below. Let's start doing that in Excel in the VBA. The first thing we do is we go to Insert and select Module. I have got a Module 1 open here. I need to actually create a sub-procedure. SUB and I'm going to call this exercise 1 active cell. Exercise 1 active cell. I'm going to create some space in here. I need to declare all variables at the start. The first variable I'm going to declare is what is the active cell. Dim, what is the active cell value? As variant. Now I'm going to call it variant. I could call it string if I absolutely knew that it was text in there, or I could declare it as integer if I knew it was going to be a whole number value. But variant will actually check and find out for me and will just use it automatically. It's a bit slower than string or integer, but it certainly works. Now I'm going to say what is the active cell value equals, and now I'm going to use that active cell property, active cell dot value. So that means that the variable, what is the active cell value, is actually equal to the active cell's value. And now I can message box that. Message box, open brackets, and write what is the active cell value, close my brackets. And if I run this, it will actually find the word hello. Remember, I had the active cell is hello. What is the active cell as variant? What is the cell value? Message box. Create a program that finds the active cell value, the row value. That is, when I look at the form here, I'm looking for whatever the active cell's row is. At this point it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the active cell will be B3, which will mean it'll be return the value of 3. Sub exercise 2 active cell row value. I need to declare my variables. Dim, what is the active cell row? And I'm going to declare it as variant. No, in this case, I'm going to declare it as integer. I know it's an integer because the row value will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. I then use the active cell row property. What is the active cell row equals active cell dot row. So that will now mean that what is the active cell row value will be whatever the active cell row is. And then I message box it. Open, what is the active cell row? And so it should be 3. I'm going to click on it and run it. And it's declaring it back as 3. Fantastic. My next question is, what is the active cell column value? And this uses the same kind of thing, except it uses the column. So let's have a look. Sub exercise 3 active cell column. Dim, what is the column? As integer. what is the column equals ActiveCell dot column. So this is actually saying that the variable now is the ActiveCell column. A message box, open brackets, what is the column, close brackets, and I run that, and this should also say 3. Oh, it says 2. And why? Because if we see here, it's at 1, 2. The next one wants to know, create a program that finds the value of a cell that is 1 row down from the active cell. And this uses the offset property. So, let's show you that. So I've created a new module here, and I'm going to call it sub exercise 4. And if I go up to here, I need to declare a value. I declare a variable. What is the active cell value 1 row down? I could have called it anything I like. Now, what is the active cell value 1 row down is equal to active cell. Oh, we need to declare what it is. So let's go up here. As variant. The reason we do variant is we don't know if it's going to be a number or text. So what is the active cell value 1 row down equals active cell dot offset, open brackets, and you'll notice how it comes up with row offset and column offset. So it's 1 row down and no columns across. Dot value. And then if I message box it, open bracket, what is the active cell value down? I can run this and it will actually give us the value of, here it is. So let's have a look at this. Click in here, run it. Message, it needs to be message box. Let's run that again. Here it is. See how the active cell is hello, but here it is the value of the cell down below that. The same thing can be done with the active cell offset column value. So if I want to find the value over here, I just change this from 0 to 1, and that will actually give me the value 45. I can run that, see that? And it says 45 because that is 1 to the right.